Yes, sir. Very good morning, distinguished guests and esteemed dignitaries. A very warm welcome to the Golden Jubilee celebration of Chemtech and inauguration of 12th edition of EPC World Expo and Conference. Distinguished guests, we begin our journey with the lighting of lamp to mark the commencement of this significant event, and I request our chief guest, Mr. Suresh Prabhu, Mr. B. Narayan, Group President, Projects and Procurement, Reliance Industries, and Chairman for EPC World Expo 24, Mr. Subramanian Sarma, Whole-Time Director and Senior EVP Energy, Larsen & Toubro Limited, Mr. Vinayak Pai, Managing Director, Tata Projects, Mr. Mark Bonandrini, Chief Commercial Officer, Petrofac, to please proceed for lighting of the lamp. Light it. To join us on the dais, Mr. Suresh Prabhu, Mr. B. Narayan, Mr. Sarma, and Maulik Bhai. As a token of commitment to greener future, we will now present our esteemed guests with a sapling, and I would like to invite Mr. R.K. Srivastava, former CMD ONGC, to present a sapling to Mr. Suresh Prabhu. May I request Mr. Rajiv Mathur, Director HCG Group, to present the sapling to Mr. B. Narayan. I would now like to invite Mr. U.K. Bhattacharya, former Director Projects NTPC, to present the sapling to Mr. Subramanian Sarma. Now I am delighted to invite our chairman, Mr. Maulik Jasubhai, chairman and chief executive, Jasubhai Group and Chemtech Foundation, and honorary consul of Austria in Mumbai, to present the welcome address.
Are we live next door? Are we live next door? Just verify this. Little logistical thing. We have got a second inauguration for specialty chemicals going on next door. So, better? No? All right. Better now? All right. So, are we good to go on the next door? Mitra, are we good to go next door? Sorry about this. Last time I had to actually physically run next door to do this. Yeah? All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to the 50th anniversary year of Chemtech Foundation. Today we stand on a cusp of a new era, a new India, celebrating not just our past, but also heralding a dawn of an exciting future. It is an honor to be here surrounded by pioneers, visionaries, and the brightest mind in the chemical process technologies. Before we begin this momentous occasion, let us take a moment to remember our visionary founder, Jasu Shah. I am certain his blessings are here with us today on this incredible journey. Today marks the inauguration of a new initiative, a pivotal step in the evolution of Chemtech. It's called SCALE, Solving for Climate Action by Leveraging the Chemtech Ecosystem. This is not merely another startup platform. It is the enabling force behind the most innovative climate tech startups, providing them with the tools and resources to tackle the most pressing challenges. From engineering services to sophisticated equipment manufacturing, from mentorship by industry leaders to building their first pilot plant, SCALE is a catalyst for change. I'm thrilled to announce that more than 60 startups from India and across the globe have confirmed their participation in the SCALE Pavilion. It is in Hall 3. These startups are eager to engage with solution seekers from oil and gas, power, chemical manufacturing, and water sectors. They will share their insights into their innovation during our 3-day conference, focusing on critical topics such as baseload clean energy, industrial heat, solar, CCUS, hydrogen, and more. In addition to SCALE, we are proud to host a most comprehensive student outreach program. Over 2,500 students of science and engineering, representing 100+ colleges across 28 states, are here to interact with industry leaders. The Student Innovation Pavilion showcases solutions to 32 industry-defined problems, developed under the mentorship of companies like BPCL, BASF, L&T Energy, and many more. Furthermore, we are excited to present the Future Chem paper presentation, where 50 original research papers by students will be judged by a panel of esteemed academicians. Our agenda for this expo includes 9 major specialized technical seminars, uniting the entire ecosystem under one roof. From EPC to specialty chemicals, from refining and petrochem to water and automation, these programs are curated by the most esteemed leaders in their respective fields. With over 700 exhibitors, 25 country pavilions, buyer and business delegations from 38 countries, this makes Chemtech 2024 the largest expo to date, facilitating global partnerships and collaboration and showcasing the latest achievements in our industry. Today, we also honor excellence with Chemtech Leadership and Excellence Awards. This will be in the evening. These awards are decided by the eminent industry leaders as jury members and chaired by none other than Dr. Mashelkar. We will recognize achievements in 11 categories, including 2 new editions of ESG and Women Achievers. As we gather here today, I'm reminded of a famous ad from Patek Philippe. It says, "You never really own a Patek Philippe, you merely preserve it for the next generation." In the similar vein, we don't own Chemtech. We are the stewards and facilitators of this vital industry platform. We are truly grateful for the tremendous support, guidance, and most importantly, deep affection that we have received over these past 5 decades from entire industry and the leaders. It is this unique feature that makes Chemtech built for the industry, by the industry. Thank you for being part of 50th year of Chemtech World Expo. Normally, this would conclude my welcome speech. Since all of you are here to listen to far more eminent speakers and far more knowledgeable leaders of the industry and the government. However, may I request your little indulgence for a short film down the memory lane of Chemtech. Thank you. 400 conferences, 9,000 speakers, 350,000 delegates, and 50 remarkable years. This is a momentous tale filled with influential events. Let's start from the start. In the year 1974, a time where industrial trade shows were a rarity, an enigma unfolded. The chemical ecosystem had no focused business-to-business trade show, only melas. In the heart of Mumbai, at Sardar Patel Stadium, NSCI Worli, a pioneer stepped forward to change the landscape. This was the birth of Chemtech. The first Chemtech event, the Pioneers Trade Fair, was not just a trade show. It was a 4-day spectacle that set the stage for a revolution. Exhibitors clamored to be part of it and sought an extension, realizing its potential. At the helm of this revolutionary movement stood Jasu Shah, a visionary inspired by Germany's structured trade shows. This goal was clear: to introduce and nurture this culture in India. Trade shows were just the beginning for Chemtech. It grew into a dynamic core of mentorship, learning, and technical expertise. From the outset, a study circle initiative became an integral part of our chemical composition, eventually developing into the student outreach program. Through the Icon Lecture series, it facilitated connections between industry leaders and emerging talents. The leaders of Chemtech Advisory Board, CAB, played a pivotal role in shaping its ethos. From inception, this esteemed group had taken upon themselves the responsibility to advance Chemtech's growth. This dedication has endured over time and continues to define our identity. They nurtured a culture of excellence and humility with a special peer-to-peer recognition system in place. Under the leadership of these revered individuals, Chemtech promoted computer and tech adoption in chemical process industries and biotechnology, expanded internationally by participating in 1981 Offshore Technology Conference, emphasized the importance of environmental protection with Envirotech 1984, spotlighted hydrocarbon and energy sectors and organized Chemtech plus ORT, completed a 30-year association with Arkema.
Have been associated with Arkema, which is world's largest chemical plant show since last 30 years. And my experience showed me that such events can help the industry enormously. The development as well as advancement of industrial activity.
Ventured along new verticals of EPC, water and industrial automation, launched Enertech World Expo.
Chemtech Foundation have been kind of promoting the cause of chemical and energy technologies year after year.
Introduced new initiatives including refining and petrochemical conferences, student outreach programs, and more. Incorporated a technical platform for specialty chemicals.
Specialty chemicals are the key, because of when we will see a host of products that we can see as useful, healthy, safe, and green. And specialty chemicals can show all industries a way to grow.
And extended the scope of energy platform by launching technical verticals for nuclear energy and gas technologies. In essence, we emerged as the pioneers of exhibition. Fostering through and through, we became facilitators for the industry, by the industry.
I've seen Chemtech contributing to this public discourse in a very, very positive manner.
Chemtech broadened its scope to fuel the development of an entire ecosystem.
We are at the beginning of an era where new knowledge in biology is going to revolutionize the world. And I see Chemtech Foundation bringing together all the companies involved in the sector in a mutually reinforcing way, and in this globalized world, helping India find its place in the world and the world find India.
From water to pharma, oil and gas, to numerous diverse verticals of the ecosystem were brought under one umbrella, enabling altogether industrial growth.
We are delighted to participate in the inauguration of Shipping and Marine World Expo 2008 organized by Chemtech Foundation in partnership with process industry.
The persistent aim became to foster innovation, collaboration, and the evolution of a sustainable circular economy. It wasn't just about our success, but the success of the entire ecosystem.
Jasubai Trust, with his untiring efforts over the last 32 years, has held this covalent bond between Chemtech Foundation and our chemical industry.
Has always been an enlightened voice of the chemical processing industry. It has always tried to project the capabilities and strengths of these industries, not only in India, but around the world. This process will continue with greater vigor.
Amidst this everlasting quest, the leaders of the future, nurtured through our student outreach program, are set to chart a course for success. Our commitment extends beyond the present with this force for the future. We envision India shining as a global manufacturing hub and aspire to harbor a circular economy for generations. Initiatives like Solving for Climate Action by leveraging the ecosystem, or SCALE, became integral to this pursuit. SCALE emerges as a pivotal gathering for global climate tech startups and industry stakeholders. It is a catalyst for international collaboration, seamlessly integrating innovative solutions into the ever-evolving landscape of global advancement. We are not just envisioning change, we are actively catalyzing a sustainable and transformative future on the international stage. Chemtech's legacy lies in the ongoing evolution of both the industry and the nation. As we look ahead, we envision a future where ingenuity propels progress, where boundaries are pushed, where excellence is the norm, and where we continue to be the force, inspiring intelligence, igniting innovation.
Thank you. Now I am privileged to invite Mr. B. Narayan, Group President, Projects and Procurement, Reliance Industries Limited, for the Chairman's address.
Distinguished dignitaries on the dais and delegates. Again, hearty welcome to this year's EPC conference being organized under the aegis of Chemtech Foundation. This year's conference is special in the sense Chemtech Foundation is completing its 50th year, as you have seen in this video clippings and also in Maulik Shah's opening remarks. It's most appropriate for us to pay tribute to Mr. Jasu Shah, who founded Chemtech Foundation 50 years ago and creating fora for exchange of ideas and technology discourses in diverse sectors. It's heartening and also laudable that Mr. Maulik Shah is carrying forward Jasubai's legacy in the same vigor and zeal. Unlike in the last few years or in the past, when the EPC conference used to be held for one day, this year's conference is being held and spread over 2 days, and mainly because we wanted to cover more topics of for people or companies of wider sectors. As you may have seen in the agenda of topics, we have curated this year's conference with keynote speeches and presentation of papers and panel discussions with question and answer sessions. And as you have seen, that along with the EPC conference, there are going to be 7 other streams, conferences taking place simultaneously, and those are, as I think somewhere I saw, covering the caustic chlorine industry, refining and petrochemicals, pumps, automation and fittings, and surface engineering, corrosion control, and pharma, biopharma sectors, etc. Besides, there is also going to be, or is already set up, an exposition where more than 750 exhibitors are exhibiting their goods and services, and they are representing more than 15 countries. And we are expecting in excess of 20,000 footfalls of the business visitors to the exposition. I certainly encourage all of you to make a visit to these stalls and bring yourself up to speed on the new developments that are taking place in the goods and services side, covering various sectors, particularly of interest to the chemical industries. It's also heartening to see that simultaneously we are also having a student outreach program set up, which is going to be participated by almost about 2,500 students. And I'm sure they will benefit immensely from the interactions with the industry practitioners in this outreach program. Now, coming to the EPC per se, EPC sector plays an important role in the development of any country's infrastructure, covering energy sector, transportation, power, water, name it. It's no different in India as well. So what is the future prospects for India, for EPC sector, service sector in India? You know, with government's drive towards Atmanirbhar Bharat, which is self-reliant India, Make in India, and Make in India, for the world, and Vikasit Bharat, and all of these initiatives, plus the recently introduced PLI scheme, would in fact encourage companies to invest, and I'm sure there is going to be many, many projects coming up. And as I saw in the presentation, the current chemical industry's size is about $230 billion, but there is a target to reach about $300 billion for the chemical industry. That's a target for all of us sitting here representing chemical industries and also the allied industries. As I mentioned, the EPC sector is actually a service sector which serves, you name the industry, name the kind of the developmental area. So whether it is infrastructure, water, power, or oil and gas, petrochemicals, refining, or even coming to the most recent development, that's a new energy sector. So it's important for the EPC service industry to be prepared to face the upcoming new developments and new investments that are going to take place in India. And there are several, I think you need to take a proactive action so as to be prepared or future ready for the new requirements of the country. Now, when I said what are the new prospects where the EPC services industry are expected to actually support the Indian industry in the new investment that are planned or that are going to take place in the country. For example, in the new energy sector, there's a huge potential. For example, the solar power or battery business or hydrogen economy. Solar power has backward and forward integration. It is even to make polysilicon from the metallurgical silicon. From there, ingots and wafers. From there to cells and modules and panels, and also the installation of the solar farms and generation of power. Because Indian government is actually giving a lot of incentives for the alternative energy generation, and so there is going to be tremendous scope for investment in that area. Coming to the next area where there would be a lot of investment interest, that is going to be in the battery business area. So it's covering lithium-ion battery and sodium-ion battery. It's battery cell manufacturing and downstream of cell manufacturing, making the packs and the battery management systems, inverters, and also containerized battery storage systems of the grid scale. And backward integration side for the battery business, it involves manufacturing of cathode active material, anode active material, electrolyte salt and electrolyte solvents, the separators, etc., to name a few. These 3 or 4 items that I just mentioned covers almost about 70 to 75% of the cost of the battery cell. So it will be of interest. And since this battery sector is also has been included in the PLI scheme, there would be definitely a lot of interest in the investment in this area. We have also seen this happening. And then the third area of new energy sector is the hydrogen economy. So the hydrogen generation by electrolysis of water. And if we use green power, like solar or wind power, to generate that hydrogen, it's going to be green hydrogen. Naturally, the green hydrogen can be then used in the downstream units for manufacture of, say, ammonia and urea. So it will become green ammonia and green urea. So these are all going to be sustainable products for the future. I just mentioned the new energy areas, but let me come to the next the area, which is decarbonization initiatives. And one of the main or most interesting part of the decarbonization drive is to actually capture the carbon from the carbon dioxide emitted from the industries, such as the power plants, the refineries, the petrochemicals, cement and steel, etc. And that captured carbon dioxide has great potential for use to make chemicals. And there are a lot of technologies being developed. For example, the captured carbon dioxide can be processed with green hydrogen to make green methanol. And once you have green methanol, or rather methanol molecule, it's a good building block for making many more downstream chemicals. Another sector which is going to attract investment by the companies is going to be in the circular economy. So for any industry to be sustainable, for that matter, any country to be sustainable, we cannot afford to have petrochemicals such as polymers being thrown out and creating an environmental disaster. So it is definitely going to be a big, interesting area where the polymers like plastics and the PET bottles, etc., can be recycled. There is a lot of effort going on currently, but mostly through mechanical recycling. But there is going to be interest in chemical recycling. It involves the process development, and definitely any business, any manufacturing business where there is a potential for recycling of the products, it'll definitely become sustainable, and it is really encouraging that many companies have taken initiatives towards that. When I talk about recycling, it also pertains to recycling of water, because after all, the sustainability or in a circular economy is dependent on the concept of reduce, reuse, and recycle. And so we can also see there's a great potential for treatment of wastewater and recycling that water, harvesting water, rainwater, etc. So because in the future, as many people have reported, water is going to be the blue gold. So that's another area which is of interest, particularly for the water sector. One other area is bio-based, biomass-based products, and this is another area because this is also part of the sustainability drive for the country and the industry. You know, already it's known that bio-based gas is produced, and the gas is actually a good replacement for natural gas. And we, as in Reliance, we have in fact launched the CBG, compressed biogas, to replace compressed natural gas as a fuel for transportation. There are also technologies being developed by the technology companies to produce sustainable aviation fuel, SAF, which is actually based on agri-based biomass, such as the oil from corn oil or soybean oil, mustard oil, coconut oil, and palm oil. Did I say? Yeah. So all of these are good sources for converting them or producing sustainable aviation fuel, because there is already a mandate by several countries to use certain percentage of SAF in place of normal conventional aviation turbine fuel. Now, with all this said, so what are we expecting the EPC industry to be prepared for? I would say that today in India, the EPC service industry have to be prepared to face and encounter the future investment that are going to take place in all those areas, apart from the projects or investment taking place in the conventional routes like petrochemicals and refining, etc. They will still continue. But I would just pinpoint a few specific points for those people who are representing EPC industry here. And I'm sure all of you are in either you're involved in design and engineering or manufacturing equipment and fabrication of equipment or construction. And so, number one, we do not have enough capacity in the country to manage multiple projects if they come up in the country. And more so, all these new investments that are going to place. All of you have seen the manufacturing hub is being shifted from the Western countries to the Eastern countries. Now, it used to be China focused, but it is going to be China plus one. But we want to remove the China from the equation. We want to have just India plus one in future. So India and India plus one. So it's naturally that calls for a tremendous effort and initiatives from the EPC industry. At the same time, it's not only the building of the quantity, but you need to upskill and reskill the workforce to manage these new energy projects. And also, you need to bring your workforce familiar with the new software tools that are available, that are being employed overseas for execution of the project. These software tools will help you improve the efficiency and productivity in your design, engineering, and construction activities. When I say software tools, I also refer to an application of AI and ML. And I heard from one of the technology providers in Europe that they have an in-house developed AI tool which will actually in a couple of hours, or even not even an hour, can produce complete equipment layout and piping layout with MTOs with a software tool supported by AI, which was really encouraging, which was really, and I in fact asked whether that tool is available for sale. He said no, but I'm just bringing you up to speed that there is such a tool available. It will tremendously improve the efficiency and productivity of the engineering. And the next point is, for the construction companies involved here, the modular construction should be the next area of improvement of construction philosophy, construction strategy. But that cannot happen unless that strategy is adopted right from the design and engineering stage. So it has to be an end-to-end strategy from design to the construction. And one last thing is, all the project owners in future would expect a digital twin as a standard deliverable from engineering companies as well as package suppliers such as compressor or sulfur recovery unit or PSA or such of those packages. So we expect a digital twin, even if it is a static asset information digital twin, which will be completely complete with all the information of that asset, which can later on be used for developing dynamic digital twin of a processing unit. With that said, I wish this conference a grand success, and also to the delegates. I'm sure you will benefit from the proceedings of this conference. And with that, I conclude. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Narayan. It's my honor to invite now our chief guest for the event, Mr. Suresh Prabhu, former Union Minister, Government of India, and our Honorary Brand Ambassador for Chemtech World Expo 2024. Over to you, sir.
Good morning, friends. Let me apologize. I'm not able to stand because I have a fracture on my foot, and doctor told me not to travel. I said I cannot avoid not to meet such illustrious people who have come from all parts of the world, and to meet them in one place is a rare opportunity. So I'm here, and I'm here also to congratulate the organizer for doing something as spectacular as this. Interestingly, Chemtech is celebrating 50th year. I was just thinking, what was India 50 years ago? When the Chemtech was established, Chemtech started organizing these events, as just now we saw the founder, Mr. Jasubhai Shah, who is in a way pioneer into all this entire space. Almost 50 years ago, India's economy was not even $100 billion. It was just about $85 billion. We have come a long way since then, and now we are almost $4 trillion. And will be definitely, we are the 5th largest and will be the 3rd largest in a matter of time, because those who are ahead of us, one is in recession and one is in stagnation. So therefore, the Japanese economy, unfortunately, for a long time in stagnation. Germany, which is ahead of us now, which became 3rd largest incidentally, is in recession for the time being. That recession is transitory, but still India is growing, and last quarter results were very spectacular. So therefore, we'll definitely be the 5th largest, the 3rd largest in a matter of time. So just imagine 50 years ago what India was. The size of chemical industry today in next few years' time will be close to $300 billion, which includes petrochemicals, pharmaceutical, chemical, the entire family of chemicals. So just imagine, it is the entire GDP of India was what the size of chemical industry will be, at least 4 times of that, and soon. Just imagine, and that's a type of travel that Chemtech has done. And I'm definitely saying, without sense of exaggeration, that Chemtech must definitely be given credit for really expanding the chemical industry to this extent in the matter of just last 5 decades. Because if we had not, Jasubai Shah, Maulik's father, had not organized these events in this particular way, number one, the rest of the world would not know what Indian chemical industry is. And today our exports of chemical products will be almost more than 120, 130 billion dollars. So just imagine, this would not have been possible had not been India, would not have been displayed in this particular way. Also, India benefited because all of you, those foreign companies who came to India, they could see Indian market and Indian companies could learn from them. And that was a platform which was made available. And therefore, this is very interesting journey of last 50 years. Incidentally, this where this exhibition is taking place, and this is one of the biggest exhibition grounds in India and in Mumbai for sure. Of course, now we have constructed quite a nice convention centers. In fact, when I was Commerce Industry Minister, when the foundation stone for this now, the big Bharat Mandapam was laid, I was the Commerce Minister when Venkaiah Naidu, then Vice President, came. And a new one which is now come up in Dwarka, which is also very, very good. Again, this was, Mandapam was Commerce Ministry and this was by Industry Ministry, as I both the charges, was done by the Prime Minister himself. We led the foundation. So today they have come up. But this particular place, which is one of the biggest in Mumbai for sure, it was not even an exhibition ground. 50 years ago, it was still an engineering company. So just imagine the transition of an engineering company, NSC, into a big exhibition ground that happened also in the last 5 decades. And chemical industry expanded exponentially during this particular period. And today, we have a challenging times for the entire chemical industry, whether it is chemicals, petrochemicals, pharmaceuticals, process industry, all of that, all those downstream, upstream, because the whole world is facing a very serious crisis of climate change. And therefore everybody is always, when there is a climate change, everybody wants to find out, or not climate change, any problem, people want to find out a villain for who is the cause of this. So normally the cause will always, people will say this is a long use of fossil fuels, wrong use of energy, the more chemicals used, more chemical pesticides, therefore agriculture production and many other issues. I am saying most of the criticism is not unwarranted. At the same time, it is also important to know and important to really introspect. Suppose if you have none of this, can we survive in this modern world today? If we don't have chemicals at all manufactured, how can we actually run our normal lives? If there is no chemicals, which is bulk drugs also is part of chemicals, APIs, we'll not be able to manufacture formulations. If you don't have formulations, how will you deal with the elements? If you do not make energy, how will you actually run even the normal affairs of the world? Many of you couldn't have traveled to this place because there will not be fuel available if there is no energy available. So therefore, you will not be able to travel to this place, either by car or by plane or by train. So my dear friend and one of the finest professionals sitting here, Mr. Bhattacharya, he ran a very important organization in the country, probably the best, one of the best in the world, NTPC. So when I was Minister of Power, people used to say, I'm a Minister of Power. I said, no, I'm Minister of Coal Power. Because we used to generate most of the electricity, I think 2/3 of that from coal. But today the same NTPC has done a transition. They still continue to produce electricity from coal. They diversified. But they are now using coal in a much better way. There are means of sequestration. There are means of so many ideas whereby they use supercritical, extra supercritical, all of that. So therefore the emissions that were happening have changed. Same is the case of chemicals. Now the kind of chemical that we use are now moving towards green chemicals. We are trying to now make sure that all the bad qualities, all bad attributes which gave that bad name to chemical industry are now no longer there in terms of mainstream chemical manufacturing. Mr. Sharma, who is one of the top professionals from last night, will speak on energy transition. I think I was just reading the program. So world has already made energy transition as a priority. I'm sure the same will happen for the entire sectors which are responsible for doing something which has happened in the past. In fact, even to cure the past and make amends, we still need the same industry. They only can change it. Industrial evolution caused climate change. Now we need another industrial evolution to correct climate change. So it's not that absence of industry is a solution, but right approach of industry is a solution. So lack of energy is not a solution. Cleaner energy is a solution. So lack of chemical is not a solution. Making right chemicals is the solution, and for that you need good technologies, good ideas, good processes, good regulation. Of course, regulation worldwide has become very stringent, including in India. And therefore, that will happen. But that, again, sometimes regulation also brings innovation. Because when you are regulated so stringently, then you have no other choice but to think about better ideas. And that's good for humanity. So Chemtech is happening at a time when the whole world is going through an energy transition. The whole world is going through entire transition of the industry. We say industry 4.0. Now I think we'll have to go into 5.0, 6.0. And I always think, why you can't it 0 to add it? Don't call it 0 at all. So coming into the fourth industrial revolution, now fifth, and we'll definitely make sure that we will produce something which is necessary for the human being, necessary for carrying out the activities that we are doing. At the same time, not with the attendant challenges that were associated with the industry in the past. And this is what definitely is happening and will happen even more. And to happen it more, we need platforms like Chemtech, where all the players will come together, exchange ideas. And there are, I know, events happening, similar events maybe in Europe, somewhere else as well. But probably Chemtech definitely is one of the best platforms available to all countries. It is happening in India, but with a global vision. And India is going to be the next happening place for the chemical industry. It is already increasing its footprint, but we'll see more and more will happen because manufacturing, the share of India's manufacturing is today only 16% of the GDP, which we want to take it to 20%. I had prepared a plan as Commerce University to make it 20% of $5 trillion, that's $1 trillion, in which the building blocks will be different, but also chemicals and this family of chemical industry will be one of the principal contributor to the incremental growth that will happen. And for that, I I'm sure my friends from other parts of the world will look at it very seriously. India is the right place for doing that. And to do that, Chemtech is a platform wherein not only something is on display outside through products and processes which Mr. Narayan and one of the, actually on my left and right, both are the top professionals in EPC. I'll just take mention because one friend from media was asking about EPC, so I just came to my mind. I'll say it in a minute. But not only products and everything is on display, but outside of those display platforms are ideas exchanges, which happens, people will talk to each other, brainstorm, brilliant. Also students are coming, they will listen, they will also contribute. So I think it's a very, very unique, but at the same time, very precious platform Chemtech has become, and I really therefore remember the fond memories of Mr. Jasubhai Shah, whom I met first time when I was the Chemicals and Fertilizer Minister in 1999, 25 years ago. So he had already done that job 25 years. I watched it for the next 25 years. And therefore, I am sure I will not be there to watch it for the next 25 years. But I am sure the next 25 years will be even more glorious for India, glorious for Chemtech, glorious for all of you, because we are actually making a transition, and that's how the humanity has survived. We always learn from past lessons, make amends, and made things better. So chemical industry will be there in a new form, in new ideas, and for that, Chemtech will provide a very important platform. As I said, both of them are EPC, big players in EPC. Reliance, he puts up a project even before it starts. He's already implemented the project. And of course, Mr. Sarma is so good, and Larsen & Toubro is such a fantastic brand name, and which he plays a very key role. They do a fabulous job. So when they promise something, they do it. In fact, the L&T used to say, we make things which makes India proud. So I think what makes us proud is that Mr. Sarma is our friend. So I think we'll really congratulate you for making that happen. I was thinking why I mentioned this, because my friend was just now taking me my small bites. He didn't bite me, he was taking my bite. So he was asking me about something interesting. He said, what do you think about EPC? So I just said, I remembered. We had a fertilizer plant in India, in Haldia. Haldia is in West Bengal, east of India. One of the very top port, not functioning as well as it should be. But in Haldia, we put up a top-class fertilizer plant to make urea, because we need all three types of fertilizer, NPK, and urea is one of the big component of that, nitrogenous fertilizers. So we put up a plant, which was top-class. We hired best of different agencies to make it happen. And each agency was good. The problem was, end of it, everything happened well. It looked very shiny, bright, everything. But only thing that they couldn't do was to produce fertilizer. So everything could happen, but only thing that didn't happen was they could produce a bag of fertilizer. And why did that happen? Something interesting, and that's why I'm saying it is important. Because they were all top agencies, but nobody was responsible. So EPC has that advantage of making accountability and one single agency which will actually deliver. So EPC will never happen if the fertilizer is not produced, EPC will not be there. So finally the EPC success will depend upon whether you have produced not only bag but tons of fertilizers. But here unfortunately not a bag of fertilizer can't produce. Of course some other plant must have produced bags to make fertilizer, but those bags were never used. So I think this is why I think the role of EPC is very important. And therefore I must once again congratulate Maulik for Maulik name. I think his parents must be very thoughtful and very thinking that they thought that most precious call is Maulik, right? So he's carrying forward a very precious legacy. I'm sure in the next few years' time, Chemtech actually also look at now new ideas of becoming remaining leaders of this particular sector. And I'm sure they will has that competence and capability to do that. But one thing is sure, I would request all of you that we are passing through very challenging times in the world for many reasons. But importantly, when challenges come, those who really have the ability to face the challenges in a very positive bend of mind can actually create huge opportunities out of that. So chemical industry and the entire family of associated industries are passing through challenging times. But this is the best time for the industry to reinvent itself, to find out the best possible way to actually address the challenges and come out with something far, far better. And some companies are already doing that, even in India. So I'm sure we'll be able to progress faster with that. When we talked about agrochemicals, we're always thinking the agrochemicals are harmful and everything else. Now we have got different kind of agrochemicals, which are agrochemicals are needed. We need pesticides, we need insecticides, we need fungicides, we need all of that. We need fertilizer. Without fertilizer, how do you get the nutrients for the plant, nutrients for the soil? But at the same time, we have to find out non-soil destroying nutrients, non-soil promoting good soil in terms of by adding these different inputs into the agriculture value chain. This is what is happening. So all the best to you. Once again, congratulations. And also congratulations to Chemtech for completing last half a century journey, which itself is a great achievement. To keep organizing this for year after year for the last 50 years, itself an unbroken chain, in itself is a great achievement. And I'm sure when you talk about golden jubilee, that's a 50 years. I think gold always keeps shining all the time, irrespective of whatever metals you can discover anywhere in the world. So I think I'm sure it will keep shining. Of course, Maulik's wife would say, I don't want gold to shine, I want to wear it. So that's what a woman in India want. So India is the biggest consumer of gold in the world. So all the gold in the world which is produced finally finds its way into India. So that's what golden year, I think, means that India will keep guiding the world in terms of how it should shine in the right way. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now I request our esteemed guests on the dais to release the exhibitors directory. There's one. There's one. Thank you, sir. Now for the presentation of the mementos, I'll request our guests from the industry to please join us. Mr. Vinayak Pai, may I request you to please join us to present the memento to our chief guest, Mr. Suresh Prabhu. I now request Mr. Mark Bonandrini, Chief Commercial Officer, Petrofac, to present the memento to Mr. B. Narayan. You can take the memento only, not the tray. I now request Mr. Ajay Kumar Singh, Executive Director, Head Project Offshore ONGC Limited, to present the memento to Mr. Subramanian Sarma. Memento And now I invite Mr. Subramanian Sarma, whole-time director and senior EVP Energy, Larsen and Toubro, to present the conference perspective and for context setting.
Good morning. Energy is very low. Good morning, all of you. So it's always a difficult proposition when you are the fourth speaker in the event like this, because whatever I had thought of saying has been said by Mr. B. Narayan in a very elaborate way. And little bit of humor I had, that was also stolen by Mr. Suresh Prabhu. But anything, I'm very delighted to be here in this event. And my job is to set the context and talk a little bit about the theme. But before that, I would like to thank all of you for being here, taking time from your busy schedule. Particularly, I would like to thank Mr. Suresh Prabhu. I mean, despite his injury, he has made an effort to come here, and that shows the commitment he has. And I think we are all here to participate in this 50th year celebration of Chemtech Foundation. Amazing journey. I mean, I think 5 decades, like Mr. Suresh Prabhu said, to sustain that without any break and in a continuous way is a phenomenal thing. I think we heard about that bit from Maulik, how his father, Jasubhai Shah, started in a small way. What was a very small initiative 5 decades ago has blossomed into something very big. And today, we are standing in front of you with such a large platform which is able to attract the best of the best from the various industries, whether it's public sector, private sector, EPC, manufacturing. Global companies are participating in this event and coming and sharing their thoughts and ideas and insights on varying subjects. And to have that platform and share these thoughts and ideas is so invaluable. And I think you must all thank Maulik and Hemant and Maitra and the entire team for a wonderful job they are doing. Please put your hands together. Special event means we need special theme. So it was not easy when we were sitting down in the advisory board. Samudraji knows, and all of us sat down. We said we should come up with something special. And it has to be contextual. It has to represent the sentiment around us. And so when we were debating, we saw that we are all experiencing a paradigm shift in many aspects around us. I mean, first, of course, as Mr. Prabhu said, we are all very proud. The economy is growing at a very brisk pace, and we are the fastest growing economy. We are very proud to be an Indian now at this point in time, which is very good. But also equally, along with the growth, there is concern about the climate change. The growth positive growth can impact, how it can impact the Mother Earth and the planet. And the changes around that is a matter of concern for us, and also responsibility that we deal with it in an effective way for the future generations. So that's on the climate side. Then, as the scale and complexity of the projects is increasing, as BN spoke about, there is also a huge focus on cost efficiency, capital efficiency, because everything what we do has to be competitive when you are in a competitive environment. And I think, very interestingly also, technology is playing a big role. The technological development, what we are seeing, is happening at such a brisk pace. I mean, we saw the digital solutions. We haven't finished talking about digital, and we are now talking about Gen AI. And the Gen AI impact, it can not only transform, but revolutionize the way of living. So that is, all these things are happening. And at the same time, the industry is also facing a huge challenge with respect to talent and skill availability. Every time we talk about EPC, the biggest thing which comes to my mind is how do we deal with the talent, how do we attract talent? Because for some reason, unfortunately, our industry is not perceived to be as glamorous as others. So how do we attract that talent and how do we make this more glamorous? So all these thoughts went into this process of selecting a theme. And finally, we came up with a beautiful theme, a roadmap to EPC leadership, a paradigm shift. Now, I think despite all this happening around us, I'm very clear that wherever you see, however you see, there is great set of opportunities available. I think all three speakers spoke about the amount of opportunities. A cake is so big that everyone can have a big share of it, provided every industry, every individual, every organization is ready to challenge the status quo, because status quo is not going to work. Ready to challenge the status quo, embrace the changes, adapt themselves, and prepare themselves for the future. I think that's very important. Otherwise, you're not going to make the... But the opportunities are huge, immense, and that's why this event, Chemtech, is bringing huge amount of subjects which are very important, very contextual. We're going to talk about how do we equip ourselves for handling large EPC projects, which is a need. We said that without EPC industry, the plants cannot be built. We are also going to talk about how to do EPC in small industries, medium scale, small scale, because that is sector people felt was a little bit ignored. Because in chemical industry, you have projects maybe less than 1,000 crores, and you require a good solution, good EPC contractor to undertake those jobs. So we're going to talk about both mega and small. We're going to talk about energy transition. Like I said, it is equally important. While we grow, we need to reduce the carbon footprint. And how do we do that? How do we strike the affordability? How do we strike the balance between growth, reducing carbon footprint, providing energy affordability, and providing clean energy and energy security? I think that whole intersections, how do we manage that, is something we are going to talk about tomorrow as part of the energy transition. We have a session on the digital solutions and the latest technologies, how we can implement that. Again, BN spoke about that the P&IDs and the layouts can be generated in few hours and not months and weeks. How do we use those technologies? And we also have a session on the Students Reach program. We have more than 2,500 students all across the country part of this event. We'll be addressing them. How do we excite them? How do we make this industry more attractive to them? And how do we make them play a very important role in what we are going to do? All of this is going to happen in the next 2.5 days. So I think it's a great opportunity, what is being offered. We are bringing best of the speakers from various companies, various organizations who have also, were kind enough to give their time, to share that knowledge, share their wisdom, share their insight. Now I urge every one of you and every organization to engage in this whole process very actively, participate in a meaningful way, and make the best out of it, so that every individual, every organization can transform itself using this knowledge, using this, the skills that will be exhibited, and prepare themselves for the future. Like we said, I believe personally that the future is very bright. What we are going to see in the next decade, or maybe even less than that, is going to be far more than what we have seen in the last 4 or 5 decades. There's no doubt in my mind. Because that's the kind of opportunities. We are having multiple things happening. We are having conventional energy playing its part, the new energy playing its part, the transition happening its part, technology coming into play, huge amount of demographical advantage we have, economic growing. I think everything is falling in place. This is our time. This is our moment. This is the time for the industry to grab these opportunities and make a huge impact. Do something which will make you proud. Do something which will make your industry proud, your organization proud, and do something which will make nation proud. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. This brings us to the closure of the inaugural session. And I request we'll take a 15 minutes break now and reconvene at 25 minutes break now, and we'll reconvene at 11:30 for the panel discussion, EPC Challenges and Transformation. It's a very interesting session, and we look forward to meeting you here.